Coach Slater here, back with another technique video. This time we're going to look at double unders. We're going to start off with Christy Rizzo, who, as most people know, is awesome at double unders. We're going to see what she's doing well to see how you can fix your own double unders. The main key we'll look at is wrist control. That is usually the main problem with a lot of people as far as maintaining consistent double unders. So we're going to watch these guys. We're going to watch them in slow-mo and see how they spin, and then compare them to a few others as well to see what they might be doing wrong or could be doing a little bit better. Look how Christy's wrists are flicking, doing the majority of the work. Her hands get a little wide, but she's not tensing up her shoulders, and they're not doing a lot of the work for her. Her shoulders are relaxed through the entire process, so her wrists are doing most of the work. So in super slow-mo, you can see how the shoulders stay still. They're not really squeezing too hard. It's mostly just her wrist moving in big circles. I mean, there's a lot of wrist movement there the entire time. Now, one thing we do want to fix for Christy is watch her knees when she lands. So right there, you can already see it, how there's a little bit of rotation to the inside, especially on the left knee there. We'd want to fix that. She fixes on the jump, of course, but you see crash, boom there, and then jump. So if anything, we want to see Christy have the knees stay either facing forward or facing out so that we know she's not going into what's called a valgus knee position and risking, a future potential injury. If you look deeper, we might see that that left knee is the main one having the problem. And you look at her feet there, her left foot is turning in the most as she lands. So there might be a left glute issue we would need to look at to kind of see, well, why is that left leg? What in her left hip isn't stabilizing as well as it should that we could fix? All right, so let's look at Rob. See a lot of up and down motion, but not a rotation through the wrist. That's the one distinction we want to try and fix. It's a solid jump. He's getting major height here. The knees are extending. He's getting a good leg jump. But you see his arms moving a lot in the process, which means his shoulders are doing more work than they need to be doing. He's not getting as good of a flick out of his wrist as he could. The less you can think about moving your forearms up and down and more on just feeling the wrist flick, the easier it will be for you to maintain double unders into the higher rep numbers. Okay, now we've got Ashley behind him. Now she's got a bit of a pike. You see her bending there at the hip as she reaches the top of her swing. So that's one thing we try to fix, of jumping up more, straight up, so that the knees bend more here at the ground, so she can use her quads more to jump up. The piking tends to be a little more calf and booty work, so the quads aren't doing as much as they should be doing to get you elevated straight up. Now watch her wrists as well. See, they don't quite move as much as we saw with Christy. So this is a lot of arm here. So look at that right wrist, for example. It's not moving a whole lot in the process. The hands go up and down a lot with the wrist being locked, so we know that she's moving mostly through the elbow, which means the shoulder's moving more than it should be doing, and the wrist isn't doing as much work as it would need to be. Now, Ashley's working through some elbow issues anyway, so the fact that she's doing dubs this consistently with that is great. Let's just be very clear on that. That's awesome. Fixing the wrist would help her for the future. Next up is James. James is also very good at these. As you can see, look at the rotation through his wrist. Soft bend of the knee as he lands, drives through, knees lock, gets most of the jump through his quads and then his calves. And then look how much the hands rotate. Good forward turnover, opening back up, forward, back, and through. So his shoulders aren't getting as burnt out in this process. By being nice and tall, he's hopefully able to breathe and recover. If you can make your double unders a recovery piece, whew, now you're doing something. Lastly, we've got Mike. Similar issues we saw before, where it's a lot of elbow bend. You can see the wrists aren't moving quite as much, so he's not getting as much rotation as he needs to through his wrist, so he's doing a lot of work with the shoulders. But let's watch the wrist to see they're moving a little, but really not nearly as much as we saw on James and on Christy. You can also see there's a little bit of an imbalance with Mike's hands. So Mike's left hand is heading up a little higher than his right. So there might be a slight left shoulder issue that we want to look at as well with Mike. If you video yourself and happen to see that you're imbalanced in a similar way, one hand higher than the other, there might be some sort of shoulder issue we need to look at to see about getting you better balanced. So we'll finish on Christy. Again, it's a hard downward flick through the wrist. The wrists are moving a lot. She's got an easy grip on the handles themselves, not a death grip. That relaxed grip allows her wrist to move very easily. And she's got a slight imbalance here as well that we saw in Mike Wellner. See that right hand is a little bit further out than the left, so if we could work on keeping that a little tighter, that might help a little bit with her. And again, that left knee issue in the left foot. But the main focus here today is to try and fix your wrist, because the wrists tend to rule everything with double unders. If you can make your wrist move in big circles like Christy is here, you're going to see your double unders get better. Now it's all a matter of just timing. There you go. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a good week.